Hello students, welcome to the YouTube channel of Shri Vashishth Vidyalaya. We were doing Keeping Quiet poem, and in the last video we had done the first and second stanza of the poem. In this video we shall be continuing with the remaining stanzas of the poem. Till now we have learned in the previous two stanzas that the poet of this poem requests the readers to keep quiet and count till 12. Symbolically, what does he mean? He means that the readers are supposed to introspect themselves. The readers are supposed to introspect themselves. Introspecting means they need to think and rethink what life is all about. Also, we have learned that this poem majorly focuses about the peace in the world and the universal brotherhood. The poet talks about the peace in the world and the universal brotherhood. And in the first two stanzas, the poet says that leaving everything, whatever we are doing, stop moving your hands and stop acting, and whatever we are doing we should stop everything, and then we should introspect, then we should start thinking on at which position we are. Also in the second stanza, the poet says that this will be a very strange and exotic situation. Why will it be an exotic situation? Because we shall all will be in uniformity. How we shall all will be in uniformity? Because all the readers, not only the readers, when everybody on the earth will be silent, will not be moving his hands and will not be acting in any manner, and when we shall be introspecting ourselves, we shall all be in a universal stream. And this is how that shall be a universal position, that shall be a same situation. Everybody will be in a very strange universal a very strange uniformity. So now let us proceed further with the third and the other stanzas of the poem. Let's see what does the third stanza has to say. The third stanza says, those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. So what the poet is talking about here? The poet in the beginning of the third stanza speaks that the people who are preparing for green wars means the people who in turn of earning lots of profit, or just in order to fulfill their desires, the people who are harming the atmosphere, the people who are harming the environment, they are dealing with the green war. They are releasing harmful and toxic gases and harmful and toxic chemical into the rivers, and they are harming the environment. They should stop and introspect. Also, the poet talk about the wars that are people fighting to kill each other. The poet says that the people who are fighting the war, they should stop and introspect on themselves, and they should realize the fact that harming the atmosphere, harming the environment and killing each other for their benefits will not result into their welfare. It will actually not result into anything. Then the poet says that they would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers. What does the term putting on clean clothes means? The term putting on clean clothes means they should think in a whole new or in a completely different point of view. They should change their way of thinking. Putting on new clothes means introspecting on themselves and then thinking in a completely new manner. They should, हिंदी में कहते हैं ना, काया पलट कर देना, हृदय परिवर्तन कर देना. So the people who are dealing with green wars and wars with each other, the people who are killing each other, They should put on new and clean clothes, and then they should walk about their brothers. It means they should introspect themselves, and also they should think with a whole new approach. They should take the entire world with a whole new and a completely different approach, and they should spread the universal feeling of brotherhood. Here the poet is talking about universal brotherhood. He says that we should consider even the enemies, we should consider even our enemies as our brothers. We should spread only love in the shade of doing nothing. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. When the poet says that we should stop moving our hands, we should stop acting in any manner, and we should just introspect ourselves. Poet says that it should not be considered as complete inactivity. I am not asking everybody to be. If I am saying that we should stop moving our hands and we should not be acting in any manner, it really doesn't mean that I am requesting everyone to be completely inactive. Actually, you are not inactive when you are introspecting yourself. I am not saying that you should not do anything. When you are introspecting, when the readers and when the people of the world, when they are introspecting themselves, actually they are doing something. They are not completely inactive. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. The poet says that no one should be fighting with anyone. There should be complete peace and universal brotherhood with everyone. So, here in the third stanza, what the poet is talking about, people who exploit the grain wealth, that is nature, by deforesting or by mining or by fishing in the deep water, they should introspect themselves and they should realize the consequences of doing so. And also he wants the people to put on new clothes, that means to adopt a new approach towards life and realize that killing people is not their actual victory. Also, the poet wants all of us to united for a noble cause, and he says that we should even consider our enemy as brother. He is asking us to adopt the concept of universal brotherhood. What is fourth stanza? If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, I'm reciting the fourth stanza of the poem. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, and for once could perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. What does the poet wants to say here? The poet says that each human being on the earth, everyone, is involved in completing this or that kind of task. Everyone is busy endlessly to fulfill their aims. They are just thinking that the aim of their life is to continuously survive on this earth and to remain out of the threat of death. So everybody is in rush of accomplishing what they want. Everybody is in rush of accomplishing what they call their work. But the poet says that happens if they pause for a while. They can appreciate what they have achieved till date. See, poet says here, if we were not so single-minded. Single-minded means we are just thinking about fulfilling our work. We are just thinking about accomplishing what we want. But we never thought that whatever we have achieved it on what cost? Also, the poet says that we have never thought of enjoying, or we have never thought of celebrating what we have achieved till date. That is what we call interrupting the sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. The poet says that poet says it is time to stop and see what has been achieved, and it should be enjoyed. We should enjoy of what we have achieved till now, instead of again and again, instead of keeping ourselves in this cycle of working and achieving. And on what cost? In order to achieve our aims, in order to achieve our goals, what are we doing? We are harming the environment. Also, we are killing our brothers. A human is killing another human to achieve his or her goals. Next, the final stanza. Perhaps, I'm reciting the final stanza now. Perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now I will count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. Poet says that earth has something to teach us. When everything seems to be dead, this sentence is to be connected to the winter season, when there is lots of snowfall and the entire landscape is covered with snow. Everything is grey, everything is cold, everything is dull. It gives us a symbol of death. Everything seems to be deadly. Everything seems to be related to death. But earth teaches us that when everything seems to be deadly and it is all about death, then comes the new life. Because after winter it comes spring season, when the flower get flourished, when the flower blossom, when the trees are on the verge of life and everything is colorful, the weather is so pleasant and everything seems to be joyful and rejoicing. What is it? The winter was a kind of deadly landscape, and then comes the spring, which itself is a symbol of life. So the poet says that we should introspect ourselves and we should learn from the earth that when everything seems to be deadly and when everything seems to be related to death, it itself is a symbol that life is on the way. Better days are coming. The life is coming. The colors of life are coming. And then the poet says that now I will go and you will count till 12 and you will introspect yourself. The poet, when he says that now I will go, he means that I will leave all of you in peace. I will leave all of you alone so that you all can introspect and you all can think and rethink on what life is all about. So conclusively, if we see the theme and conclusion of this poem, right from the beginning, the poet says that life is not about killing people, life is not about harming the atmosphere, life is not about always fulfilling what is your duty, and life is not about always achieving what you want to achieve, and life is not about achieving the goals. Life is about maintaining peace. The poet says that universal brotherhood and the universal peace should be our agenda, should be the motive of our life. We should introspect ourselves. We should look, we should peep into our own soul, we should peep into our own consciousness, and then we should think what have we achieved till that and till date, and on what cost. And then instead of achieving or acquiring more and more in our life, we should stop and we should enjoy what we have achieved till now. That is what the poet wants to say, that introspecting is what is needed now. So this was the entire summary and this was the entire essence of the poem Keeping Quiet, that we must keep quiet, we should not act, and we should now introspect ourselves. I hope all of you did understand this poem briefly, and we shall very soon in the live classes will learn in detail and in more about what happens and what does the poet want to say in detail. Thank you so much. All of you, I request all of you to keep on visiting this school website regularly. And of course, this COVID-19 disease, this coronavirus disease has taught us lots of things. So always be thankful to these quarantine days and always be thankful to COVID-19, since it has given us a chance to learn new skills and to make ourselves creative. The C of Corona stands for creativity, so it is giving us the creativity. Now what does OVID stands for, we shall be discussing in the next videos. Thank you so much.